Hey everyone, it's Friday, April 19th, let's talk PlayStation. So if you remember last week, Sony was talking about how PS4 isn't just about shooters, it's about everything, they want everything on this platform. Now Michael Denny is talking to Edge Online, basically talking about how the PS4 is made absolutely for gamers, made by gamers. Sony's Michael Denny was basically quoted as saying that the vision for the PlayStation 4 was a gaming system made by gamers for gamers, and that's the simple truth of it, and, you know, by all means, that's awesome, that's what we want. And of course, they were talking about the same thing we've heard before, you know, how PS4 is easy to develop for, how they learned their lessons from PS3, all this jazz. But as a company, it's good to see that multiple representatives of Sony are giving the same answer, and they're not BSing you on the fact that they want this machine to be for gamers, and that's good. And then Michael Denny was talking about a few other things, about how that he does know what the console design is, and how he thinks it looks pretty damn awesome. And then he was talking about how Sony knows the PS4's launch date, which I certainly hope they know the launch date. But here's a couple of interesting facts. The PS4 and the Vita were developed simultaneously. So basically these machines were started from the beginning, and then Vita came out first, obviously, and now PS4 is coming closer. But it kind of gives you that idea of how they really were sort of developing these things with both of them in mind to, you know, connect and play with each other. Which is good, because when you look at PS3 and PSP, those systems were nowhere near close to develop near each other, and they had, you know, terrible connectivity between each other. Remote play was a mess, and nothing really worked. It was just sort of that, you know, you could plug in, copy some files sort of thing. And lastly, developers Guerrilla Games and Evolution Studios, who, you know, have worked on Killzone and MotorStorm respectively, actually helped design the DualShock 4. And that's about it really, just some cool details and facts. A lot of stuff coming out about PS4. As every week goes by, we're learning more and more stuff. We're getting closer to E3. All of it's just so good. I'm salivating right now. So we haven't talked about Superbot Entertainment a while, developer of PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. As we know that they kind of split up with Sony, and we didn't know if they were going to get closed. They had a lot of layoffs, so we don't, you know, people are thinking, is it going to get shut down? They've come out to say that they are not getting shut down, and they are actually currently working on a new IP. While they did say staff was drastically cut down, they are indeed working on a new game, and again, this is the studio that was purposely built by Sony to make All-Stars, but now they're working on their own thing. So let's see what Superbot's got. So if you remember a while back, Sony's Michael Denny kind of hinted, semi-confirmed, that Gran Turismo 6 was coming out for PS3, and now Newegg.com is kind of showing some, you know, evidence by the fact that they listed the game on their site to buy for PS3. Rumors are suggesting that the game is only days away from actually being announced, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Let's talk about Final Fantasy Versus XIII. Where the hell has this game been? Well, we're going to find out some information soon, hopefully, because Square Enix has basically said that they have a set date for when they're actually going to start showing more information about this game. I guess as of right now, Final Fantasy Versus XIII is actually a delicate subject within the company, and that people are kind of sketchy about it or something, I don't know. But like, a set date is set for the game to actually be shown to the public, and that's it. We're going to know more about it soon, finally. Obviously, I'm thinking E3, but there could be some other dates. As of right now, a lot of rumors are pointing to Final Fantasy Versus XIII actually being pushed to next-gen consoles, so presumably PS4, and possibly the next Xbox, if it is even still exclusive at that point. I'm sure it's gone multi-platform at this point. But I don't know. My guess is as good as yours. I'm saying the game's going to be on next-gen, multi-plat, announced at E3. That's my guess, but what's yours? So, who's ready for a new PlayStation Vita game called Men's Room Mayhem? If you remember, Sony shut down Sony Liverpool Studios, the developer mostly responsible for the Wipeout games on PlayStation, but it turns out 4 ex-employees from that studio are now working on this new game called Men's Room Mayhem. So yeah, I mean, these guys obviously lost their jobs, but they formed this new studio, and now they're working on this new Vita game, and all we know about it is the name, which, you know, up front kind of raises some questions. I will say right here, right now, without seeing a single screenshot, without knowing what the game's about, simply from the title, I will tell you right now, my body is ready for Men's Room Mayhem. Man, I hope there's multiplayer. Hey, let's talk about Criterion, famous developer for Need for Speed and Burnout games. What are they working on? They've been silent for a while now, but now we kind of know like what they may be working on, which is, you know, not a racing game. Studio chief Alex Hoare basically sent out a bunch of tweets this week talking about how the company is basically moving forward from racing games, which is, you know, the developer is known for racing games, so it's certainly interesting, and he basically said, you know, it's time for something new. And hey, more power to him. I want to see what these guys can do. They've been doing racing games for a long time, and I'm all for it. Let's see what they got. I will say I was kind of bummed that they debunked the rumor about a Need for Speed Underground remake, or reboot, because that would be awesome. I think it's safe to say that a lot of us don't like motion controls, and especially DICE, developer of Battlefield 4, because they basically said flat out, Battlefield 4 ain't using no motion controllers. They were basically quoted as saying, we're not interested in things that don't make the game better. I just like the fact that a developer has come forward to say, you know what, we don't want to do this, it's a gimmick, and we're not interested in it. I mean, most developers, even if they don't include it, they always have some sort of PR answer, right? Like, We believe the PlayStation Move is a very interesting idea from Sony that we sure think would That's really what they say after it, because the rest of it is just kind of blah 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 to me, you know? I'm not completely against motion controls, because it definitely does work in some areas, but it definitely doesn't need to be in everything. So kudos to DICE. No Kinect, no PS Move, just straight up controllers or mouse and keyboard. That's what we want. So this last news story will probably be irrelevant by the time this is actually going up and by the time I'm recording this, because the, cat's going to be out of the bag. This past week, Bethesda was tweeting a bunch of videos on Twitter basically hinting at a new game, and IGN's going to be revealing it this Friday, which would be later today, because when I'm recording this, I still don't know, but we'll probably know later today. Some people are saying it's Fallout, some people are saying it's new Wolfenstein, but from the time that we're recording this, we kind of already know what it is. Apparently it's a brand new IP from Resident Evil's creator, and that's basically it. That's all we know for now. Just kind of sticking this news story in there just to acknowledge it, because I know it is coming out today, but this is the most convenient time I can actually record these. So, there you go. That concludes this week's episode of Let's Talk PlayStation. I'm Ryan Benecki. Thank you for talking with me, and I'll see you next Friday.